Hello. Today I'm going to tie for you another Sow Bug. The name's not very creative, but it's a mashup of materials and techniques that I've seen out there, and it's more or less just how I do it. So we're going to do, and I don't want to take credit for anyone else's work here. This is me standing on their shoulders. So we're using a size 14 curved hook. This one may be a TMC. I have several different types, and they kind of got mixed up, so little hint there, tip there is I use those cheap fingernail clippers to clip wire. Um, it beats using the back end, even the back end of your scissors, and it works just fine. And they're not expensive like those fancy jewelry making wire cutter nippers. So there I just put about 10 wraps of lead-free wire in the middle, kind of get this hump going, and we'll cover it with some gray thread. And that's 8/0 uni thread. So that feather there, I think it came from a teal duck, but it could be mallard. I was just looking for something kind of soft, give a little movement, and I want it to be barred, um, kind of break up the color a little bit. So you can vary these materials and change the colors and match the bugs in your area. This one seems to be kind of generic, mostly gray and with a little sparkle in it, you'll see later. So here the technique is to just take a strip of that, in this case teal fibers, and I'm tying them in the front and back to create the, I don't know if you call that a tail, and what are they up front? Gills or breathers? But scuds and sow bugs seem to have these things. I guess scuds is kind of a short name for like freshwater shrimp. So, and these patterns often get kind of mixed up or interchanged, but basically, I think since the scuds and shrimp, they're kind of tied the same way, work the same way. If you have them in your water, you're going to want to fish something that maybe resembles them a little more than this. And I think the real difference is in the color and shape, maybe size as well. So I think the shrimp have a more pronounced hump, and I think it's more towards the hook eye. And I think they're more flattened when you look at them from the top down. And I think the sow bugs are kind of the opposite. They're like pill bugs and they're flattened out like top to bottom. So in my box, I kind of pull these out, use them interchangeably, and the fish don't really seem to be too picky when it comes to this size and color. And then, of course, presentation, right? You have to be down there where just above the bottom where the fish want to feed. So here I just have some rabbit dubbing. I tied in a piece of black wire that I'm going to rib this with. And the whole idea here is to try and what's the easiest way? How can I mass produce these? Because with my Euro nymphing or getting down near the bottom, I lose a few of these. So I want to be able to make them quick and easy. I tried all the garbage bag scuds and pull something over the back, and um, it all works. They look great. They just take me longer to make, and I don't think they're more effective. Probably look a little better on camera. So here we dubbed over the body. We have the basic shape is formed. I'm going to go ahead and whip finish. Put a couple of whips here so things don't come undone as I go forward. I could have trimmed those fibers a little bit there so they didn't get in the way, but we'll work around them. And it's kind of an advantage to have them a little long because when I go to finish this fly, we're going to be dipping it in some clear cure goo, little tongue twister there, but some kind of UV resin, not the thinner stuff, but something at least medium. So we're going to go ahead and put in that black rib. I could have counter ribbed this so it didn't sink in as much, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I like how it comes out. So I'm just trying to keep it even and make it look like segments. And we're work our way up to a bare spot here behind the hook eye. And I'll throw the, there, I kind of bumped the camera, but I'll throw the bobbin over the top and get it wrapped. I'll hold it in place and then put a few wraps there. So this looks buggy, and you could probably fish it just like this. In fact, that was my original intent. But I couldn't leave well enough alone. I had to go the extra step. So break off the excess wire. And at this point, the tying part of the fly is just about done. One thing, this hook and some of them have a little gap and some sharp edges right where the hook eye closes. So it's nice to build a little bulk there with thread. This will also keep those fibers out of the hook eye when you're trying to hook things together. So we'll get as many of the tiny fuzzies out of the way. Make a nice gray head. And I'll 5 or 6 turn whip finish here just to get the shape that I want. Pull the thread tight and slice the excess away. So still not going to trim those long fibers in the front yet because I kind of want them to curve away. You'll see as I dip this in the glue. So, and again, this is a mashup. I saw someone else do some stuff like this. Going to trim those fuzzies. I've done it in the past. You could do it with a lighter, but uh, it's kind of overkill again. So here we have gray macrame yarn. That's going to be, and a combination of that and that scud dubbing. That's long stapled. There's that clear cure goo. So I make a little smear of that goo on the paper. And then I've prepared some of those gray macrame fibers and some of that long staple dubbing. You can experiment and test it and see what looks right for you. I've kind of mixed those together, and I'm going to fold them around the hook, pull out any of the short ones, and then I hold it together like this, take the whole works out of the vise, and then here I'm trying to demonstrate. I just dip and roll in. It doesn't have to be done on the first pass. You just get a little goo on there, let it soak in for a second or two, and then cure it. And that'll hold all those fibers in place. And then here we're just going to do some touch up. So I'm going to snip off that bump I see in the back, any fibers that started to come away. It's a good time to get those out of the way, interfere with the shape. And I'm just going to add a little goo and get that finished glossy shell back that most of these patterns have. And I know we're, what is this, about the middle of April, so we're just entering the season where we have hatches and mayflies and other things to fish with, but there's not always a hatch, and sometimes we have to scrape the bottom. So some perdigons, and this is a way to catch fish in between. So we cured that second layer, second coat of goo. Not saying the clear cure part because of the tongue twister. And I snipped off another stray fiber. So a couple of snips here, and this thing's about done. Just trim this on an angle so it doesn't look chopped off. And same with those fibers underneath. They're pretty much meant to look like legs. So I'm going to snip them about a hook gap in width, angling a little shorter towards the back. And there's always a few that get away, and you got to go back around and snip it. I don't think that one's even glued in. And then if you snip up on an angle, it doesn't look like a carpet, it looks a little more like legs. And that's pretty much it. I put a drop of head cement on the thread wraps. You can see some lines through it, some different colors. Pretty effective pattern, and you can do it a lot faster than I did for this video. So hope this helps you out. If you want to learn more about me, look me up on Amazon. And until next time, be safe.